Senator Coons. Senator Grassley.
Yeah. First of all, I want to put a couple letters from Iowans in the record on this issue.
These are real Iowans?
Yes, real Iowans.
Let's put them in the record.
Sure enough, thank you. I'm leading into Mr. Shee question. Last time the Judiciary Committee held a hearing on credit card competition, many of you testified before this committee, and I asked your thoughts about the credit card duopoly claims. Now the Justice Department has brought a case regarding antitrust concerns to the debit card market. Despite the passage of the Durbin Amendment, the department judge alleges that Visa has an unlawful monopoly. So further, what you just recently discussed, Mr. Sheedy, how is the credit card market different than the debit card market? Pardon me for coughing.
The credit card market in the United States is very different, Senator. First, American Express, who does not operate as a four-party system, would be outside of the scope of this legislation, is a huge player in the U.S. credit card market, very successful, and has defined historically a very high rewards, high feature customer service, and that's something that financial institutions who issue credit cards in the United States have had to respond to. The credit card market in the United States has 4,000 financial institutions underneath the Visa system, credit unions, community banks, as well as larger financial institutions who issue credit cards. When you look at other markets around the world, they are not nearly as diverse. They're much more concentrated in fewer players. And so I think drawing analogies between what happened outside the United States with interchange regulation and how consumers in the United States would be impacted by this legislation, I think, is concerning to us. We do believe that the consumer, when they try to pay with their Visa card, they have expectations about how that transaction is going to be processed and the features and the benefits that they're going to enjoy. And we feel that those benefits and that choice should remain from the consumer. This legislation would hand that to the merchant.
Okay, Mr. Cantor, the original Durbin Amendment sought to promote competition among debit card networks. Has it worked?
It has. Now, there are some problems with it because, as the Department of Justice has alleged, Visa has tried to evade that law and caused antitrust violations in the process. But it has worked. Fees have been lower. Several studies, including the ones cited by the credit card industry to say consumers haven't benefited, show that consumers have benefited. Happy to have everybody read the studies that they cite as well as the ones we do. The one they cite from the University of Pennsylvania Law Review shows 53% direct pass-through immediately to consumers and lower price. The one we cite, and Roger Alford cited to a study, 70% pass-through. And frankly, the rest is taken up in paying employees more and competing on service and the things that Chris Callahan just talked about. Profit margins for retailers did not go up one iota. In fact, in grocery, they went down. So it's been much better for consumers. And I think this whole discussion of rewards, having a few of the numbers is really key here. And let's just understand, on credit cards, Senator Marshall went through some of this, but from consumers, the banks that issue credit cards get $125 billion a year in interest and fees, $125 billion. From merchants, they get $172 billion a year in swipe fees. Only $41 billion gets paid in rewards each year on $300 billion in revenue. This idea that rewards will go away if you reduce those fees by what's estimated for the Credit Card Competition Act is $16 billion. So now we're at $284 billion combined dollars to pay $41 billion in rewards. If the banking industry, which has the highest profit margins of any industry in the United States, bar none, can't make that work, I don't know what we can do for them.
Yeah, my time's about up, so I got a question. It's going to take 5 minutes to get an answer, so I'm going to submit it for answer in writing, but I'd appreciate if it was for all of you to respond to.
Thank you, Senator Grassley.